If you get out of an abusive relationship and your partner threatens to end his/her life if you don't come back, you should let them do it. It's not your responsibility if your partner decides to do that. You have no business in that. They are trying to manipulate you into getting back to the same hell you were before, but why would you like to come back? Would you like to be with the same cheating woman again? Or with a guy who beats you up every day? Just because you feel guilty? No, my friend, don't do it. Cut all communication with them as soon as you cross the door. Yeah, I don't know about that. I wouldn't just let them do it. More than likely that's just the abuser trying to reel you back into the relationship. Instead of falling for it, just call 911 and tell them that your ex is suicidal and the cops have to show up to make sure they're still alive. If they're serious, then hopefully they get the help they need, but if they're lying, then it makes them think twice before making suicidal threats, so either way you're in the clear. Most of the time they'll never do it, as they're just looking for the attention. If they are serious about killing themselves, then you should try and get them help or talk to their family members about their problems. You don't have to be in a relationship with them to do this, and you don't have to do it at all. I had 2 women pull this trick on me. And I made sure to record the phone call and told them that's on them, but they shouldn't do it and I'm sending help. They didn't follow through. Another girl threatened one of my colleagues in college with the same thing, to get engaged and married. He was from a very rich family, so he fell for it and they're married now. She cheats on him constantly, but it's like an open secret in their family now. Unpopular but fair. If you care whether they live or die, then there are things you can do that don't involve contact with your ex-abuser. But at the end of the day, better to gamble their life than your own. It's difficult because you still care deeply for the person. The situation is all kinds of fucked. The best thing to do is to contact the authorities and say someone threatened suicide. They are legally required to intervene, at least in California. If they're actually suicidal, you're doing them a favor. If they're not suicidal, fuck them. A few days in the mental hospital will teach them not to put that kind of weight on people's shoulders. This happened to my friend from college. He said he was going to kill himself and it was her fault for breaking up with him, and he hung up the phone. She called 911 and they literally took him away in a straitjacket and dumped him in the loony bin for a few days. Honestly, just call the police. It's the best choice, cause they either have to explain to the police that they weren't serious, or if they are serious they can get actual help. Can't see why this is an unpopular opinion. Makes perfect sense to me. I might call to get them help, but I would sure as hell not be blackmailed into getting back into that. Agreed. However, it is extremely unlikely they do it. If they're that narcissistic to pull the suicide card in the final stages of the relationship, then their intention is control/attention, not to end their life. Realistically, you should call the police and have him put in a hospital on suicide watch. I know it's a long shot, but would hate to end up in jail for being somewhat culpable by doing nothing and letting them. Not unpopular, and it isn't really that simple in most cases. Guilt, etc. I agree. You should in no way encourage them to neck themselves, but beyond that you have no obligation to stay with them or deal with them if they are behaving in this unacceptable manner. Your best bet is to block them on all channels and not allow contact for at least a few months, if not longer. If the behavior persists, cut them off forever. I think calling the police or hospital would be better though. I don't think you should necessarily let them, but you shouldn't come back to them either. If they are actually serious, it is better to get them help. I don't agree. You should go to the police and tell them you are being emotionally abused, which this is, and let them handle it. If you did nothing, you will feel guilty, no matter how much you are trying to rationalize it. This is such a common occurrence in domestic abuse. It's part of the intake questionnaire at women's aid organizations. If you're seeking help, I recommend to contact Women's Aid, or Men's Aid, and ask them how to deal with these threats. Your health and safety, and that of your kids, is the most important. Let them. You aren't in control over them and don't have to give your permission to allow them to kill themselves. You aren't responsible for their actions. You can do your best to discourage them as long as it doesn't interfere shifty what you want to do, but ultimately it's their life and their choice. That doesn't change my opinion of you, although I'd really wish you wouldn't go through with it. If you actually truly cared about someone, it's probably the best thing to do. It tells them you don't want them to do it and they have nothing to gain by killing themselves. People just aren't acting rationally in these states, and you definitely don't want to encourage something stupid or behave as if there's something gained from it. In someone's warped mind, having you regret what you said to them for the rest of your life can be enough of a justification to show you it wasn't just a trick. Let them know you would be deeply hurt by it, the truth, however, that doesn't change your mind about you leaving them. Easier said than done. If they did follow through, and killed themselves, that guilt would follow you for a long time. Is that rational? Possibly not, but it would happen all the same. Someone who doesn't care about their own life definitely doesn't care about yours. Pretty dangerous. If they're ready to end everything up, they will end you up as well. I did not think this was unpopular, but it seems some people feel obligated to go back to their abuser, which is heartbreaking. Definitely a victim of domestic abuse should not feel like they should walk back into the arms of their abuser out of the threat of suicide. It's disgusting that people can live with themselves after treating their partner this way. Shit, go buy them the razor blades and call them out on their bullshit drama. So this happened to me. I was packing, she said she was going to kill herself if I left, and I said okay and packed my things in the office. About an hour later I went to the bedroom and found her dead. Follow-up question: if you say okay, do it, and they kill themselves, are you responsible? Is it manslaughter? I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't abusive with my ex, but the opposite. I let her do whatever she wanted and didn't say that I was feeling very bad about it, but I told her if she left me, I would probably kill myself. It's not because I want to force her, I was really thinking about that. I know, I'm an asshole. Or you could report them to the police as a suicidal person. Don't go back. Call 911 or whatever your emergency number is, give them his/her name and address, tell them he/she is threatening to commit suicide, and nothing more. Don't give them your name or number. They will have to conduct a welfare check, and if they don't, you're in the clear. Then change your phone number, email address, etc. I was an ER nurse and I've seen people murdered by their exes by using that same excuse. Middle ground. You shouldn't let them do it. However, you also shouldn't return to an abusive relationship. Call their bluff, and if they state they're going to end it all, then tell the police. Easy as that. Or notify their parents or other close family or friends what they said and how they've been acting so they can keep an eye on them. But no. Don't have knowledge of a future suicide and just allow it to happen. WTF.